Soomaali markii aan yaraa reer miyi baan ahaa geel iyo ari iyo baan maqayn waan ku noolayn noloshu marra way u macnayd oo marka roobku ku da'o oo wacan tahay marra abaar baa jirta oo yar adag tahay kadib anigoo hal boolla ah ee cadan lay keenay cadan waxaan joogay muddo 8 sano oo ku weynaaday baasaboortaa ka qaatay kan bacdana waxaan soo galay igl koob iyo lixdankii baan iglan soo galay.
This is my father in Somalia in a place called Afgoya. This is him again, most likely much younger than this other one, and this was in Cardiff. My dad used to be a member of a band, and that is his band playing in Cardiff, and he also was a seaman, and that's him being an electrician and on the ship. And here, if you can see it there, it's my grandfather there, Tuala Muhammad. That's the first man of my family who came to Cardiff.
waxaan u doortay markii aan familiga waan kaxeeyo Soomaaliya waan kaxeeyo Kenyan geeyey deetana waxaan doonayaa in England keeno iise waxba ahaa marka xaggan Soomaalida iise ahaa laakiin anigu waxoogaa difficult ahaad bay ahayd deetana waan soo dhoofiyey familiga aqal baan iibsaday au iibiyey waan keenay familigii
Cardiff waxaan u doortay waa meeshii nin madow oo England bas soo galay meeshii ugu horreeyay weeye ninkii ugu horreeyay mana Soomaali buu ahaa from 1718 something like that marka waa meeshii ugu horreysay Soomaalidu ba degtay Cardiff sida aawadeed ayaan u doortay inaan Cardiff dego.
I came to Cardiff in 1990 to join my dad here in Cardiff, and I think you could imagine coming to a country where you do not speak the language of this country, and the biggest problem was communicating with my father because my father did not speak Somali, he only spoke English and Welsh, and his children are coming down from Somalia to join him here, and we don't speak the same language. So we are forced to pick up the language as quickly as possible, so at least we could understand within our family before we go out and understanding and speaking with other people.
والله iska fiican Soomaalidu iska shaqaysan jirto iska fiicnayd dadku dad xun ma aha wada la shaqeeyay laakiin Soomaalidu waxay yaqiineen aniga adeerkay wuxuu ku dhintay Argentina inta laga tagay markab raacay yaa xanuunsado markii uu ku dhinto 1921 kii uu ku dhintay adeerkay.
I guess everyone looks back at their childhood with nostalgia, don't they, really? But yeah, for me, it was a brilliant place to grow up. At the time, the docks were in decline, so the docks really was our playground. So when I mean the docks is, where the ships used to come in. So what is now Cardiff Bay in the 80s was quite a derelict place. So we used to go over there and light fires, climb buildings, smash windows. It was a wonderful childhood. Really, we didn't have much, but we didn't miss out on anything.
I always knew I'd marry a Somali. I don't know why. I kind of looked at the races, and thought, you know what? I didn't have an identity when I was younger, and I always wanted my children to have more of an identity than I did. So, marrying a Somali was just part of that, of my identity. And obviously, my daughter was born. He talks to her in Somali. She'll grow up knowing the culture and everything to do with the Somalis and the history. And this is what I wanted for my children, something that I didn't have.
My forefathers came from across the world. So one came from the Philippines, one came from Barbados, and two came from Norway to settle in Bhutan at the turn of the 20th century. So they all married Welsh women. My great-grandparents were all sailors. And then my father was also a sailor as well. So, I grew up a sailor's son.
maxaa samayn jirtay shipyaasha oo Britishka shaqaalaad muxuu ahaa
shaqadaydu waxay ahayd shaqo fara badan bay ahayd dushooda markay shaqaynaysaa halkaad ka shaqaynaysaa waayarada ka shaqaynaysaa shukaantaad qabanaysaa haddii ilaahay idmaayo habeenkii baad gaarka tahay markuu kubadda maraayo waa waajan marka shaqabada maad qabay jirtay maraakiibta qaar baa dul iyo hoos labada baad ka shaqaynaysaa jabruunka iyo deega mid walba
markaan muddo joogaba marka hore shaqayn jirayna markaan muddo shaqeeyo waa tegi jiray iminka daqudeedana markaan muddo sanadii bar joogaba mar baan holiday tagaa ka soo noqdo baasboortka iyo waxay waa waddanka laakiin dee dhalashadaydu waa Soomaali dee waxaan u joogay halkanaan anoo yar imid oo ku gaboobay oo beyshan ku qaataa oo dee waddankeennii waad ogtay shaqal ma jirto beyshan ma laguu siin maayo marka dee meesha aad ku noolaan karayso baad dee jooga waddankunbaad bay ka mid ahay iminka oo baasboorkiisa haysta oo ku noola
berigii horeba beri hore oo aanaan niman anagu anaan jirin iyo Cardiff iyo lagu dagaalamay oo haddaan iyamadu loo dagaalamay laakiin bagaas beri fog bay ahayd Somali very hard team, very hard, long time.
I guess everything changes, don't it? And as I imagine you speak to a lot of people and they've said, oh, they ain't like it used to be. But nothing is like it used to be. So I was thinking about this. In about 88, things started to change because crack came into the area, and then crack kind of started destabilizing families and kind of messing with the community. And then at the same time, in about 1990, well, refugees started coming from Somalia. So obviously straight away the makeup of the community started to change as well. And also at the same time, there was something called the Cardiff Bay Development Corporation was set up, and their remit was to kind of redevelop the old docks into what is now Cardiff Bay. So that kind of created additional pressures on the community as well.
When my mum was growing up, she always tells me stories about, you know, what would happen, and, you know, you wasn't allowed to go a certain part out of docks because if you did, then you would get attacked by people who lived outside of docks. For instance, like a lot of racial tension that went on. Docks, you didn't have to leave docks. It had a butcher's, it had a fish shop, it had everything that you needed to. Do you know what I mean? You never had to leave. Like now, obviously, we have Grangetown, Riverside, all the surrounding areas. But when my mum was younger, you wouldn't be able to leave docks. You had to stay in docks, otherwise you would get attacked, sometimes killed, because of your ethnicity. And the white community never entered docks. They would enter where the ships were because of the bars and things, but they would never ever enter into like the estates.
Originally, that wall was built part of the train line, but I guess now it serves a different purpose, doesn't it? To my mind. So I live literally opposite the railway, and to me it serves as a divide between the new Cardiff Bay development and Buttown. So Buttown is kind of penned in by the railway line, the River Taff, the sea, and another railway line which divides Buttown from Cardiff Town Centre. So we're kind of penned in, and sometimes we feel socially excluded, metaphorically excluded and physically excluded. But then other times I think people kind of like that as well. They like the comfort and the safety.
How do you see the future of the docks in Buttown?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to be there forever. I think in about 20 years' time we'll go. Only because if you look at on a map, we're basically in a circle and everyone's building around us. All redevelopments are going on, and they're not including us in anything. And I just don't think we'll be there unless the community all comes together. You know, every nationality within the Buttown community need to come together and work together to make something better for them.